Once again, a pleasant day. So this video presentation is good for my SPA students kasi nga huling-huli na kayo sa topic. So in this presentation, we're going to discuss about half-life equation. By the way, this topic is very important. Preferably, you have already know the concept on the decay process, which we have alpha decay process, beta decay, and gamma decay. So kailangan natin yun to integrate those concepts in explaining what is half-life. So let us proceed. Now let us proceed to by defining before going to the problem, because we cannot deny that in this presentation we'll be having a lot of simple problems, hindi naman siya ganun ka-complicated, that is related to this concept we're going to discuss now. Okay, to start, let us first discuss about or define first what is half-life. Half-life or the half-life of an isotope is the time interval during which half of the atoms originally present disintegrated. So radioactive decay is best explained in terms of the half-life. Okay, I'm giving you a practical example of this one. So as you recall, sa decay process natin, for example, let us use the thorium. Yung thorium, pag nag-react siya, tinamaan siya ng certain decay, nag-undergo siya ng certain decay. For example, nag-react siya, tinamaan siya ng beta decay. So yung thorium, pag tinamaan siya ng beta decay, it depends on the state of the electron, kung positive ba siya or negative ba siya, or kung it depends on the kasi meron tayong beta plus decay and beta minus decay. Depende kung mag-give off ba siya ng electron or re-receive siya ng electron. So for example, magre-receive siya ng electron. So yung thorium, the atomic number of the thorium is 90 if I'm not mistaken. Wala akong periodic table, siguro 90. Just look at just find on the periodic table kung 90 ba ang atomic number niya. So for example, the atomic number of the thorium is 90 and then tinamaan siya ng beta process or beta decay. For example, tinamaan siya ng minus decay, beta minus decay. So mag-i-increase ang kanyang atomic number into 1, pero yung atomic mass is still the same. So from 90 to 91, so hindi ko alam kung anong element yung 91 dyan. Perhaps PA, proactinium. So from thorium to proactinium, yung time ng nuclear process on that particular element is what we called half-life. What we called half-life. So yung duration ng reaction, nuclear reaction on that particular element, a particular decay, is what we call half-life. So for example, yung thorium nag-react siya or nagkaroon ng reaction within 24 days. So for example, thorium is 80 or 100 grams, pagpalagay natin meron akong 100 grams of thorium. And ngayon, after 24 days, naging 50 grams siya. On the following days, another 24 days, 25 naman siya, up to half. So, yung 24 days dyan, na interval, para mabawasan ng half yung amount of the thorium is what we call half-life. So, ibig sabihin, bawat kalahating gramo doon or bawat half of the amount of the thorium na nababawas, it takes 24 days para mag-react siya at matanggal yung or mabawas yung, for example, 100 grams. So it takes 24 days para mabawas yung kalahati doon sa 100. So for example, after 24 days, from 100 magiging 50 grams na siya, from 100 grams to 50 grams, and then so on and so forth. So yung duration nila para magkaroon ng reaction from 100 to 50, yung 24 days dyan na interval para magkaroon ng reaction from 100 to 50 is what we call half-life, because half-life is simply defined as the time it takes of a certain nucleus or certain atom for the one half of certain amount of nucleus to decay. So thorium, para ma-decay natin or para mabawasan almost half amount of that of the total grams of the thorium, it takes 24 days. For example, yung 24 days yan is yan yung half-life natin. Ibig sabihin, half-life, ito yung kailangan natin para mabawasan or ma-decay natin yung half of the total amount of the element. So from 100 to 50 to from 50 to 25, the time interval dyan, pagpalagyan natin is 24 days, 24 days, then 24 days. So yung 24 days na process doon or interval doon is yun yung kailangan na tagal para ma-decay natin half of the total amount. And that is what we call half-life. Now let us explain that by means of the mathematical expression. So for example, we have here mass of remaining sample just be equal to original mass divided by the 2 raised of n, wherein yung n dito is just be equals to time elapsed divided by half-life. Okay, the unit for the mass, obviously it can be grams or it can be kilograms. When we say if we talk about the SI unit, so we have to use kilograms. And for the time elapsed, basically it can be minute or second or anything. Okay, let us relate that. Let us apply this one into a sample problem for us to better understand this topic. Now, example number 1. Suppose that the half-life of radon is 3.82 days. How many days will elapse before 1/8 of a given amount of radon will remain? Okay. The given here in this problem, we are asked about the amount of the time elapsed of the radon from the certain, for example, we have here this one, the half-life of radon is 3.82 days, 82 days, meaning to say, para ma-decrease natin yung total amount of the radon into half, kailangan natin ng interval na 3.82 days kasi yan ang half-life niya. So for example, 100 grams, so after 3.82 days, mababawasan yung 100 grams into half. And then another 3.82 days naman, yung natira na 50, mababawasan naman siya ng half, and then the following half up to maubos na siya and ma-convert into certain element. Now, the problem is the half-life of radon is 3.82 days. And then how many days will elapse before 1/8 of a given amount of radon will remain? So for example, meron tayong radon, ilang araw or how many days will elapse bago matira yung 1/8 na lang doon sa radon. So for example, if you have a one amount of the radon, pagpalagay natin, meron tayong one amount of the radon, and then ilang araw yung dapat na hintayin natin para yung matira na lang doon sa one whole na yon is 1/8. Yan ang problem natin, since alam natin na the half-life of the radon, ibig sabihin sa one whole of the radon, kung kukunin natin ang half-life niya, kung kukunin natin yung kalahati doon, it takes 3.82 days para ma-decay niya yung half doon. So ibig sabihin, every 3.88 days na interval, nababawasan ng half yung radon. Pero ngayon, ang tanong niya dito, ilang interval o anong interval, how many days ang kailangan natin para instead of 1/2 ang matira, 1/8 lang ang ititira natin sa radon. So that is the problem now. Now, to solve this one, first let us syempre lista na muna natin ang mga givens kasi para madalian tayo kung ano yung hinahanap. Hindi tayo basta-basta sasugod na lang, sige lang solve tayo ng problem without listing the given. Okay, for example, we have a given here. Ano yung mga given natin? The half-life of radon is 3.82 days. So half-life basically is given 3.82 days. and then the n there is the 1/8. O ibig sabihin 1/8 of a given amount of radon will remain. So yung exact amount of radon, hindi siya grams or hindi siya mass of the atom, kundi yung exact amount, kung ano talaga yung natira doon, physical appearance of the radon, kung ano talaga yung makikita mo doon na natira, yun yung n doon. So that should be our 1/8, or that it corresponds to 1/8, I mean, sorry. So n is equals to 1/8. Half-life is 3.82 days. Now we have here an unknown. Ang unknown natin is siyempre yung time elapsed, yan ang hinahanap natin. So using the formula solution, n is equals to time elapsed divided by half-life. So ang hinahanap natin dito is yung time elapsed. So to solve this one, you just simply cross multiply this one, itong time elapsed pupunta dito, and then yung n pupunta dyan. So time elapsed is equals to n times half-life. Now, yung n dito, the exact amount of radon is given, 1/8, and then yung half-life is also given. So we're going to substitute the value of n. So n is equals to 1/8 times half-life is 3.82 days. Now, multiply this the right hand of the equation here. So 1/8 times 3.82 days will give you 0.48 days, and the 0.48 days now is the time elapsed. Ito yung kailangan natin para ang matira doon sa radon natin, sa 1 whole na radon is 1/8 na lang. So kailangan lang natin ng 0.48 days. So ibig sabihin yung 3.82 days, the half-life of the equation, time elapsed, since we are solving the time elapse of this given problem. So ibig sabihin yung 3.82 days na half-life ng radon, kailangan lang natin ng 0.48 days, sabi niya dito, para ang ma-retain doon is 1/8 of a given amount of radon. So 3.82 days plus this one, kasi yan ang interval natin, time elapse yan siya. Ibig sabihin, in every 0.48 days, mababawasan siya ng ganyan. So the solution now, or the answer for the unknown here, time elapse, is equals to 0.48 days. Okay, and then let us proceed to another problem. Example number 2. What is the half-life of 1/2 remaining amount of helium if it is time elapse is 2 days? Okay. Kanina, ang hinahanap natin kanina is time elapse. Now, the problem number 2 is we're going to find the half-life of a certain nucleus. So we have 1/2 of the exact amount of the helium, and the time elapse is 2, and then we're asked to find the half-life of this one. So again, let us first list the given. So we have time elapse of 2 days. Exact amount of the helium is 1/2, and then the unknown here is the half-life. Solution. Using the formula again, n is equals to time elapse divided by half-life. Since half-life ang hinahanap natin, we just simply cross multiply this one. Itong half-life, akyat, pupunta doon, itong si n, bababa dyan. Yung time elapse, dyan lang natin yan, hindi na natin gagalawin kasi babalik naman din tayo sa ganun na forma. So para madali lang tayo. So yung half-life is equals to time elapse divided by n. Now, just simply substitute the value of time elapse and the n here, since we already arranged the equation into a to get the half-life. So we just simply substitute the n and then also the time elapse, and then after substituting that, we just simply divide the right hand of the equation, and the result will be the half-life of this problem. Okay, substitute. What is the value of time elapse? So time elapse is 2 days divided by the n is 1/2. Okay, 2 days divided by 1/2, so you have to get first the reciprocal of this one. 1/2, getting the reciprocal of this one, so it becomes 2 over 1 will just be equals to 2 divided by 2. Kasi pag kukunin mo reciprocal ng 1/2, it becomes 2 over 1 will just be equals to 2. Or 2 over 1. So yung 2 over 1, dividing to 2 days or dividing to 2, it becomes 1. So the result is 1 day. Meaning to say, the half-life of a 1/2 remaining amount of helium during the time interval of 2 days is 1 day lang. So ibig sabihin, in every 1 day, half-life of 1/2 remaining, ibig sabihin yung 1/2 na natira, kasi 2 days yung time elapse. So ibig sabihin, to get the half of this 1/2, kailangan natin ng 1 day interval para makuha natin yung ma-decay naman yung half of the 1/2. So the answer for that is 1 day. Next example. The half-life of zinc 7 is 2.4 minutes. If one had 100 grams at the beginning, how many grams would be left after 7.2 minutes has elapsed? Okay. Ang problem naman natin dito, ano yung hinahanap natin? How many grams would be left after 7.2 minutes has elapsed? So we're going to find the mass remaining of the sample. Mass remaining of the sample, since we have the original mass here. If one had 100 grams at the beginning, so ito yung original mass niya. And the half-life of zinc 7, sabi niya, is 2.4 minutes. And also the time elapsed here is 7.2 minutes. Okay, so just simply given muna para hindi tayo maguluhan. Given yung half-life natin is 2.4 minutes. Original mass natin, ito siya, 100 grams. And then yung time elapsed natin is 7.2. And we are asked to find the remaining mass of a sample, or mass, remaining mass of the sample, I mean. The solution, we're going back to the second slide, going back to the second slide. So meron tayong formula doon as we define or as we explain the half-life. So meron tayong equation doon or standard formula doon. Mass of remaining sample is equals to original mass over 2 raised to n. Now, meron tayong original mass. Given ang original mass natin, this one, pero ito yung hinahanap natin ngayon. Remaining mass. Given ang original mass, pero ang hindi given dito is yung n. So we have to find n first before we get the mass of remaining sample in this problem. Now to solve that, let us first yes, we have to find first what is the value of n. So wherein, alam natin dun sa first slide na n is just be equals to time elapsed divided by half-life. Since yung time elapsed dito is already given, which is 7.2 minutes, and the half-life is also given, which is 2.4 minutes. So we just simply substitute the value of time elapsed, 7.2 minutes, and the value of half-life, which is 2.4 minutes. So substituting that, it becomes equals time elapsed is 7.2 minutes divided by the half-life. The half-life is 2.4 minutes. Now dividing that, so it becomes, i-cancel natin muna yung minute. So minutes to minutes, minutes divided by minutes will be cancelled out. So it becomes 7.2 divided by 2.4 nang without unit. So 7.2 divided by 2.4 will give you 3. So yung 3 natin ngayon is, yan yung n natin, and this value of n now will be substituted on that. The 2 raised to n now since we already get the value of n, so the 3 now will be substituted that, and then the 3 now serves the exponent of this one para makuha na natin to, since given naman ang original mass. So going back to this one, since nakuha na natin yung n dito, going back to this equation naman, So mass of remaining sample is equals to original mass divided by 2 raised to n equals, what is the value of original mass? The value of original mass is 100 grams. This one. We just simply substitute kasi yan yung original mass natin. So 100 grams. Divided by 2 over 3. Saan natin nakuha yung 3? Yan na yung value ng n natin, which is 3. So we substitute 3 doon sa n. So it becomes 2 raised to 3. Now 2 raised to 3, so it becomes equals 100 grams divided by, getting the cube root of 2, so it becomes 8. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Now 100 grams divided by 8 will give you 12.5 grams. So the 12.5 grams here is the mass of remaining sample of zinc 7. So ito yung kanyang remaining sample, in which 100 grams yung original mass niya. So ang half-life niya is 2.4 minutes. So after the 7.2 interval, ang natira na lang doon sa 100 grams is only 12.5 grams of the mass of remaining sample. Okay, example number 4. So this will be our last example. Never mind the double A here. Nakalimutan ko lang siyang lagyan ng animation, kaya nandyan siya kaagad. Okay, i-review lang natin, na-solve na natin. We have already an example for solving time elapse, solving half-life, solving n, meron na rin. Solving mass of remaining sample, meron na rin. Okay, for example, apply natin yung lahat-lahat, i-reshuffle natin yung problem kasi nakuha naman, nabigay naman lahat-lahat yung mga tendency na hahanapin natin sa isang problem. So ngayon, i-combine natin sila lahat. What if mass of remaining sample ang given just equals to 50 grams, and then yung original mass naman is 100 grams. So ang pinapahanap natin na sa atin ngayon is n. So solution natin, mass of remaining sample using this formula is equals to original mass divided by 2n. Ngayon, ang given lang is mass of remaining sample, tapos yung original mass natin 100 grams. Ngayon, ang pinapahanap sa atin is yung n. Given ito, given yan. But before we solve that, let us first have a recall on the logarithmic function. Actually, we have 3 logarithmic functions. Such are logarithm of quotient, logarithm of product, and the last one is the logarithm of the exponent. So logarithm of product, logarithm of quotient, and logarithm of exponent. So yung logarithm of product and logarithm of division, hindi natin magagamit yon, but yung last function doon, which is the logarithm of the exponent, yun ang gagamitin natin. So this one. So this is the logarithm of what we call this one, exponent. Now, bakit natin kailangan itong logarithm of exponent? Kasi naka-exponent ito siya, so pag i-cross multiply natin ito siya, ang mangyayari is like this one. For example, i-let ko muna siya ha. Bakit ako maglalagay ng let? Kasi masyadong mahaba itong i-type, kaya mag-let muna ako para to minimize this one. O kailangan ko muna siyang i-let para yun na lang ang ilalagay ko para shortcut. So let us have this one. Let A is equals to mass of remaining sample, B is equals to original mass. Okay. So ibig sabihin, pag gagamitin ko yung A, yan yung stands for mass of remaining sample yan. Equals to, pag gagamitin ko naman yung B, that serve as our original mass divided by 2n. Okay. Cross multiply this one kasi since ito man ang hinahanap natin. So it becomes 2n is equals to B over A. Okay. Ito na yung sinasabi ko. Why do we need to recall logarithmic function? Now, in this case, focus lang muna tayo dito sa 2 raised to n. To solve the n, kasi n ang hinahanap natin doon. Now, para ma-extract natin ito into proper form, kasi naka-exponent form siya, so probably hindi siya pwedeng i-solve pa ganyan. So, para ma-extract natin ito siya, we need to use the logarithm of the exponent. So, for example, let us treat this one, xn, or logarithm of xn, as logarithm of 2 raised to n. Logarithm of x raised to n will be equals to logarithm of 2 raised to n. So, i-treat natin yung x as 2 and then n with n. Ngayon, to extract this one, para ibaba natin itong n na ito, we all know that logarithm of x raised to n is just be equals to n log of x. So, meaning to say, yung a dyan is just simply a base. Hindi na muna natin pakialaman yan. Ibig sabihin, pag ibaba ko ito going to the proper formation, so it becomes the logarithm of x raised to n is just be equals to n log of x. So, ibig sabihin, pag meron tayong, let us treat this one, yung x raised to n, imagine natin na yan yung 2 raised to n. So, ibig sabihin, log of 2 raised to n, pag i-extract natin yan, so it becomes 2, n, kasi yan yung exponent natin, mauna siya, n log of x. So, log x raised to n is just be equals to n log of x. So, we have a base a, hindi na muna natin pakilaman yan. So, ibig sabihin, logarithm of 2 raised to n is just be equals to n log of yung x dyan, i-treat muna natin as 2. So, n is log of 2. Okay. Gamitin natin ito. Ulitin ko. Logarithm of 2 raised to n, kasi i-treat natin yung x dito as 2. Lahat ng x value dyan, ipapalitan natin ng 2. So, logarithm of 2 raised to n is equals to, ano ang exponent? N. Ano ang base niya dito? 2. So, logarithm of 2 raised to n is just equals to n log of, ano yung x? 2. So, n log of 2. So, ibig sabihin, para ibaba natin yan, so it becomes like this one. So, ibig sabihin, magiging ganyan siya. N log of 2 just be equals to b over a. So, since given ang b, ano yung b natin? Original mass. Ang original mass natin dito is 100 grams. Ano yung a natin? Mass of remaining sample. Mass of remaining sample is already given, which is 50 grams. We have to substitute that value. N log is equals to, n log of 2 is equals to, ang b natin is 100 grams divided by, ang a natin which is mass of remaining sample is 50 grams. So, 100 grams divided by 50 grams will give you 2. So, n log of 2 is equals to 2. The next step now is to divide both sides of the equation by n log of 2 is equals to 2. Divide both sides of the equation, the left hand and the right hand, into log of 2. So, para siya lang matira dito, we have to divide both sides of the equation by log of 2. Hindi kasi natin pwedeng dito lang i-divide. Kailangan natin, kung ano yung ginawa mo sa left hand, ganun din sa right hand. So, we have to divide both sides of the equation by log 2 and then log 2. So, log 2 divided by log 2 will be cancelled out. So, ang natira na lang is n is equals to 2 over log. Ngayon, the logarithm of 2 now is 0.301. Ni-round off ko na yan to 3 digit na yan siya. Pag pindot nyo sa calculator, hanapin lang yung log, tapos press ang 2 and then diretso enter kayo. Hanapin ang log sa calculator, i-press ang 2 and then press equals at lalabas yung 0.301. Marami pa yan siya pero ni-round off ko na lang yan. And then after that, so ang natira doon is n equals to 2 over 0.301 1. So 2 divided by 0.301 will give you 6.64. So this 6.64 now is the actual amount of the certain nucleus. So yan na yung N natin. So meron na tayong lahat-lahat example, getting the N, getting the half-life, getting the mass of remaining sample, time elapsed, nandun na rin ang original mass. Madali lang yan. Using this equation pa rin. So meron na tayo lahat-lahat, and I am expecting that you can solve the problem set na binigay ko sa inyo. So if you have some clarifications about this one, about this matter, kung saan yung hindi nyo naintindihan dito, you are free to text me or PM me in my Facebook account, or just simply comment on the page at sagutin ko kayo as long as I can. So ilagay sa short bond paper ang sagot. Ang margin natin is ganun pa rin, 1 cm side by side, 1 cm ha. Short bond paper, maintain the neatness of your work. Erasure means wrong. So if you have some clarifications, don't be shy, please text me or PM me in my FB account or in my mobile number. So thank you very much for watching, and hope you have gained something about this video presentation. Thank you and God bless.